What is going on, Arizona sports fan family? How are we doing out here today on this Tuesday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in. Come one, come all. Let's all get our Arizona Cardinal fix, shall we? Let's talk about it. Help might be on the way for the Arizona Cardinals, and it couldn't be coming in the most perfect time. Big shout out to the people that are currently in the chat. We got Sports Hits, we got Mike A, we got Deus, Cardsman, and Joel. Appreciate you guys for tuning in here. And obviously, big shout out here to the sponsor of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube, Underdog Fantasy. Go ahead and download the app today. Use promo code AZSF so you can go ahead and get your initial deposit matched up to $100. Try to win yourself some money, ladies and gentlemen. Official sponsor here of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube, Underdog Fantasy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about it. Let's dive right into, obviously, if you guys are living under a rock, yesterday, big breaking news dropping in the world of the Arizona Cardinals, and that is that Kyler Murray, as long as there's no setbacks in practice this week, is going to be QB1 heading into week 10 versus the Atlanta Falcons. Now, we did already get the starter for the Atlanta Falcons, and that is going to be none other than Tyler Heineke. So it's not that I'm not worried, right? But I mean, honestly, I think there's a level of optimism. Now, I did say that I'm going to stop saying winnable games, because every time I say winnable games, it always comes, bites me in the butt all this every single time. So honestly, I'm just excited. Most likely, I think 95 to maybe even 99% that Kyler Murray will be QB1 heading into week 10. So I'm super, super excited. Now, obviously, with that, there is coming more news down the pipeline, and that is that the Arizona Cardinals are hopeful. The Arizona Cardinals, yes, are hopeful that we are going to open up the practice window for this man right here, Mr. James Conner. Ladies and gentlemen, this would be absolutely huge. If the Arizona Cardinals deem that this guy is ready to go and the practice window is opened up for James Conner, we are now officially going to see the start of the season for the Arizona Cardinals, because we're finally fully healthy. We're finally fully healthy on all sides of the coin. And honestly, it's been long overdue. I think this Arizona Cardinal organization, this fan base, has been dying to see a healthy Kyler Murray, been dying to see a healthy Kyler Murray play with Marquise Hollywood Brown for more than one game. And now we're finally going to see that, right? Obviously, barring any setbacks, barring any, drastic, unforeseeable injuries, we're finally going to see Marquise Hollywood Brown and Kyler Murray on the same field for hopefully an extended period of time. But not only that, the Cardinals are hopeful that they can go ahead and open up the practice window here for James Conner, which is absolutely very, very huge. Very, very huge. Now, not only James Conner, but there's also some optimism about Michael Wilson, rookie wide receiver, over 6 foot tall wide receiver, might be available to play for the Arizona Cardinals as well. So overall, huge, huge wins here for the Arizona Cardinals. Just when you were thinking that all we were getting is bad news, bad news, bad news, now we're starting to get some good news moving in. So I'm super excited here, ladies and gentlemen. Super, super excited. Now let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons. That team is a scrappy team. I've said this from the beginning of the year. Now, when we did our initial predictions for the Falcons, I thought that this was going to be a winnable game. That was even with whoever was our backup quarterback. Now, obviously, my mind has changed. This team is better than I actually thought they were going to be. Now, granted, yes, they're 4-5, but they're still in contention to try to win their division, right? The Saints are 5-4. They're our number 2 in their division at 4-5. I still do think that this is a scrappy team that has a rookie, running back there in Bijan Robinson that could be very, very scary, right? Can be very scary. Now, we've seen for weeks on weeks that our defense has been the focal point of this team this so far this year. They have been the heart and soul of this, the squad. Let's call it like it is. But now that we're bringing back Kyler Murray, or at least most likely bringing back Kyler Murray, there's a level of optimism. There's a level of optimism here for Arizona Cardinal fans, because let's be honest, nobody cared. And nobody cared about the Arizona Cardinals if Kyler Murray wasn't playing. Regardless if we were competitive, regardless if we were bottom of the barrel or making historic type of starts with rookie quarterback Clayton Tune, nobody cared. It was getting that bad. It was definitely getting that bad. But thankfully, we might be having James Conner and Kyler Murray back, along with maybe Michael Wilson. There really hasn't been very much updates, but I'm going to choose to decide to be optimistic here of hopefully Michael Wilson coming back here sooner rather than later. Now, somebody on the Jets says Arthur Smith is psychotic. Well, I mean, Arthur Smith is the head coach here for the Atlanta Falcons. I know there was a situation with him, obviously shaving off his mustache. It is what it is, right? I'm hoping the Arizona Cardinals season starts up very, very well, because I don't want to think of the alternative. I truly, truly don't want to think of the alternative of Kyler Murray coming back and the Cardinals continuing to have the struggling woes. Now, obviously, with your franchise quarterback coming back, you're hoping that all that stuff gets resolved, because that is what a franchise quarterback does, right? We are paying Kyler Murray $230 million. And this is what a franchise quarterback should do, is wield their team, put it on their back, and see if we can be competitive, right? So I'm excited to see what Kyler Murray is going to do. And I know a lot of the fan base is also very, very excited to see what Kyler Murray is going to do. But I think we can't ignore the elephant in the room. And that is that we were dealing with some sort of injuries this last week in week 9 for our offensive line. Now, we haven't had any real updates pertaining to DJ Humphries as well as Will Hernandez as of right now. But I did see here that the Arizona Cardinals actually picked up somebody here, and like an offensive lineman. So usually that isn't a good sign when the Arizona Cardinals are going after, O-line help, right? Especially when we're dealing with some injuries here on the offensive line. So I'm hoping that DJ Humphries can go. And I know there's a lot of portion of the fan base that doesn't like DJ Humphries right now, or has rubbed the fan base, a bad way because of just the way he's been playing, the penalties he's been having. I get where that stance is, but let's be honest, I think we're better as an offensive line with DJ Humphries than we are without. So with Kyler Murray coming back, I want to make sure that he has all the help, all the protection we possibly can get for him, because I don't want to live in a world where Kyler Murray's getting sacked every second, right? Or doesn't have time in the pocket back there. We can't have a performance like we did against the Browns. Now, I get it. The Browns are the Browns, right? They are one of the best defenses in the NFL. And there are some subscribers out there and some Cardinal fans that truly thought that this was going to be a bloodbath. And honestly, kudos to you guys for calling that and calling your shot, because you called it. You called it exactly how it was going to be. It was a bloodbath this last Sunday. But let's not ignore the fact here that the Arizona Cardinals need to protect Kyler Murray. They need to protect Kyler Murray. Whatever the game plan is, I hope that it is very similar to what Josh Dobbs was given, right? We're going to be seeing Kyler Murray play a level of play that we're not used to. Well, we're not used to seeing Kyler Murray under center. We're not used to seeing bootlegs. We're not used to seeing him multiple play actions, right? We're used to seeing him 99.9% in shotgun. That's what we're used to. And we're going to see a different level of Kyler Murray this week. And I'm excited for it. Is there going to be some bumps and bruises? I think there is, but I don't expect anything where it's going to take like 3 or 4 games, right? It might take a game for him to kind of get his feet wet, but I still expect him to put points up on the board, right? He's a franchise quarterback for a reason. In the days of, kind of coddling and babying, it should be out the window, but my expectations are tempered for this coming week. Although, yes, I'm excited about our offense finally getting these pieces potentially coming back in week 10, right? James Conner, Kyler Murray, and potentially Michael Wilson coming back here as well. I'm excited about it. I truly am. But there might be some bumps and bruises here for Kyler Murray. There definitely might be. So we just got to be under the understanding that we all got to realize that there might be some bumps and bruises for Kyler Murray. But Kyler's back. Kyler's back. That's definitely huge. And I know there's a lot more of a fan base that's actually going to start tuning in now. Believe it or not, I know some people here that weren't watching Cardinals games. And they're Cardinal fans, right? And I'm not going to sit here and say you aren't, you're not a ride or die. That's not I don't care, right? But I do know some fans here personally that was not watching games, that was deciding to do something different on a Sunday because they didn't want to see Dobbs, because they didn't care who Clayton Tune was, right? Their response was, who? Right? Who's going to be playing for the Arizona Cardinals? That was the response when they announced Clayton Tune was going to be the quarterback here for the Arizona Cardinals heading into week 9. So in the grand scheme of things, Kyler Murray is the guy that brings viewers. Kyler Murray is the guy that has brought this organization into a level of relevance. Let's call it like it is. Whether you want to move off of Kyler, the most important thing right now is to see exactly what Kyler Murray can do in this offense. And here's the thing. We've seen our offense get worse when James Conner wasn't there. James Conner might be back. So I'm excited. I'm excited about it. Let's take it to the comments here. Play action will be our best friend. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Now, obviously, with play action, you need to be able to establish the run, right? You can't play action, but not have a run game, right? You can't have the Browns showing, right? You can't have a situation that we're going to be finding ourselves with 9 carries, 11 yards, right? Because you need to be able to have that defense respect your run game, right? Play action is supposed to fool the defense. If you don't have a run game, whether it's with James Conner, if he's available to go, or Kyler Murray in the threat of him taking off and getting 5, 6, 10 yards, play action really won't work. So the rhythm of the offense needs to be very important. And it needs to start from the jump. Now, Kyler Murray hasn't had a lot of first team reps, right? But he's got some sort of chemistry with Marquise Hollywood Brown, right? At least the timing down, or hopefully at least some sort of timing down. Now, I get with the different plays, there's a different level of timing that needs to be assessed, but we're going to have Marquise Hollywood Brown and Kyler Murray. I'm excited. Let's go. This is the type of football that we all want to see, right? We're not trying to see Josh Dobbs. We're not trying to see Clayton Tune, right? Kyler Murray is the guy who makes this team relevant. And I'm excited about it. Okay, somebody in the chat says, move the offensive line around. Somebody in the chat, or the same person on the chat says, Paris, Beach, Froholt, Hernandez, and Hump. Huh. So are you saying move Paris to left tackle and then move Hump to right tackle? I mean, we knew that Paris Johnson, he was able to do both, right? And that's one of the main reasons why we got Paris Johnson, because he was one of the best offensive tackles, right? Coming out of this year's draft. And the Arizona Cardinals got the guy that they want and still accumulated another first round pick. So definitely kudos to Monty for doing that. But we do know that Paris has the ability to play left tackle. So if the Arizona Cardinals decide to do that, I'm on board with it. I truly am, but they might need to start establishing something like that now, right? Because we need to start seeing the reps with Paris Johnson potentially taking over that left tackle position and moving DJ Hump to the right tackle. I'm for it. I'm game. but it might take a couple weeks to actually get that established, or maybe heck, maybe even 1 week. But I do agree with you. I do agree with you with the thought of maybe they should move some pieces around. Uh, I truly believe it does. If it doesn't happen this year, I think next year we're gonna maybe see Paris Johnson Jr. move to the left side, and we're gonna see DJ Hump move to the right side. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. I said it right, right? So I think next year, if it doesn't happen this year, I think next year it'll definitely happen. Where Paris Johnson is going to be moved to the left, and then Hump is going to be moving to the right. But I think a lot of people know that watch football, that the left tackle position is probably one of the most important positions, because let's be honest, most quarterbacks are right-handed, right? So when they turn, the left-hand side, right, is their blind spot. So that left tackle is very, very important. And I think the reason why DJ Hump has won that position is because he's got that veteranness in him, right? And right now he's still able to do it. But I think next year, once Paris Johnson gets a little bit more time under his belt, I think there's going to be a switch, or at least there should be a switch, because I'm as tired of DJ Hump as much as everybody is. I do want to see Paris Johnson in the left. I do agree with that. I do hope the Cardinals are able to address more help in the offensive line, whether it's the draft or maybe even in free agency. So I really do hope so. But yeah, center needs to be something that needs to be addressed. That's 100% sure. We can't be rolling with Froholt. Although I like Froholt, I want to see somebody that's going to be able to be there holding it down, kind of like when Rodney Hudson was there when he wanted to play right in the beginning. Because I get it, a lot of us didn't like Rodney Hudson because it felt like he literally was just took the bag and dipped. But when he was on the field, the Cardinals won more times than not. So we need that guy that's going to be the anchor for our offensive line. We need to find somebody like that in the draft. I think it's very important. I like Froholt. I like what he's done for us this year, but we need to establish that center position for sure. Let's get to Deus with the first contribution of the day. I've said this once, and I'll say this again. Deus, the man that's fueling, that's funding the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. Appreciate you, brother. He says, K1 business wise, number one, moral wise, yes. Okay. So K1 business side, wise, no. Moral side, yes. Mr. B gets his money either way. All owners get 1 of 32 of all profits, even if we go 0-17 and no fans are in the stadium. So you're saying that's so K1 business wise, no. Moral wise, yes. Well, to be honest with you, I think Kyler Murray, and I might be reading this a little wrong, because I agree with you, but I might be reading it wrong. I think Kyler Murray coming back is good for business and good for morale, personally. I think it's good for morale and it's good for business because, like I said a little earlier, man, nobody cares. These last weeks, nobody cares. And tell me if I'm wrong, people in the chat, right? I mean, there's been a loyal amount of people that were watching this channel, but not just this channel, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about social media across the board, right? I've seen multiple people saying that I'm not going to watch this game. I'm not going to waste my time, right? And now that we're starting to see Kyler Murray back, I think it's getting a level of excitement back to fans, and they're willing to pay for tickets, right? They're willing to maybe go to this Atlanta Falcons game because of Kyler Murray coming back. And also morale-wise, I think it's also a huge win too, right? Because you got your franchise quarterback. And here's the thing, even if Kyler Murray doesn't work out, which I hope he does, I think it still brings a level of something to talk about, because believe it or not, if Kyler Murray works out, then we're excited, we're pumped, we're ready for next week. But if he doesn't work, then obviously the Cardinals need to start making that very tough decision. But this is the time where hopefully a lot of the answers gets answered, right? A lot of the questions gets answered, is what I was trying to say. So what I'm saying is all we want to is win, but the only winner is Mr. B because he cuts off the pie no matter. Oh, okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. I mean, yeah. I agree with you. I think, honestly, when it comes down to it, Michael Bidwell definitely obviously is not a guy that's a lot of the fan base likes. You know, there's a portion of the fan base that doesn't mind him, and there's a portion of the fan base that does like him, right? For whatever reason, we all kind of have an opinion on our owner, and I think there's a good majority of us that don't like him because we do feel like his decisions are not for the best interest of the Cardinals organization, or they're just very dumb, right? They're just very dumb decisions that he makes. So we're hoping that Monty works out. We like the draft so far, and then we're all hoping that JG works out because I don't want to go through another. I don't want to go through another rebuilding and getting another coach. I mean, if it needs to happen, it needs to happen, obviously, right? We're going to find out with the next couple years if JG's the guy. Obviously, don't keep him if he's not the guy, but this 1 year is not going to be the deciding factor if JG stays or not. Now, obviously, with Steve Wilkes trying to sue the Arizona Cardinals because he got fired one and done after a 3-win season, that might be something where the Cardinals might have to talk about. I don't know. That's their decision, but we'll have to kind of wait and see how it happens. So yeah, see, as you can tell, people in the chat, I don't like Bidwell. Nobody likes Bidwell. No, you're right. I don't think anybody likes Bidwell, to be honest with you. We would all really love for somebody to come in here and buy this organization. I would love myself to be a billionaire, right, and to drop a bag on Michael Bidwell and say, hey, let me buy this team off you. I would love that, right? We don't have a billionaire on tap, just like we said yesterday. We don't, unfortunately. So we're kind of stuck with him until hopefully this story that's been floating around gets blown up out of proportion and the NFL forces him to sell. But as of right now, the way that it took the Commanders owner, right, how long it took for him to get out, it doesn't really give me very much hope as a Cardinal fan to get him out. But I mean, we could all hope, right? Fingers crossed. Um Somebody in the chat says Michael might be dumb, but if anyone thinks he doesn't care, they haven't paid attention to him. Well, I mean that's the thing, right? You you can care, but do you care enough for the decisions that you're making to be right decisions, right? I mean, I think he cares more than his dad did. That's for darn sure. I think he does care more than his dad does. I think he does truly want to win, but the decisions that he's making sometimes gets people to the point where we're like, you don't want him here, right? But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think at the end of the day, this Arizona Cardinal organization has been dying off the decisions that the Bidwell family has done, right? Whether it's the Steve Keim having them for 10 years, right? Whether it's allowing BA to leave because Bidwell chose Keim probably over BA. However you wanted to decide it, right? It's the decisions of getting Steve Wilkes, right? The decisions of keeping Cliff for as long as we did. It's all kind of the deciding factors of what's happened to, Bidwell and his decisions. Because Bidwell does have decisions in this. So he doesn't want to say he does, but he does have decisions in the stuff that's being made. The fact that there's two generations are running this franchise, the fact that two generations are running this franchise is insane. The Bidwells have been running the Cardinals organization forever. And this is even beyond Arizona. So like, I wish there was something we can do as fans, but ain't nobody going to be able to make $1 billion, right? Ain't at least $1 billion. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. This organization probably costs upwards of $5 to $6 billion, right? We're talking about nobody's going to be able to raise $1 billion, and you need 5 to 6 times that. Good luck, right? You need a billionaire to come in here and save the day, and it's just nobody's got one on tap. Nobody's got one on tap right now, so it's what we got. But let's continue to talk about here on what the Arizona Cardinals could potentially do moving forward. Now, yes, right now we are 1-8. I get it. There's some Cardinal fans out here that do not want to see Kyler Murray for whatever reason, right? Whether it's the draft pick, whether they want to move on, whether they don't want to risk, right? Whether they don't want to risk Kyler Murray his injury. Here's the thing. These players get paid to play football, right? These players get paid to play football. And yes, there is a risk. And am I scared about Kyler Murray potentially getting injured? Yeah, of course. I'm very worried about it. But Kyler Murray gets paid $230 million to play football. We got to see what he does, right? Even if this is a throwaway year or however you're thinking this, summing this up in your head, regardless, this needs to be evaluated. It needs to. We need to see if Kyler Murray can be the guy. And although I hope and pray that he can become the guy, we'll have to wait and see, right? We'll have to wait and see. But I'm almost kind of scared of how this next game is going to come out because I've already heard it. right? I've already heard it. This is coming from a guy that's trying to be very, very optimistic about their team, right? And giving kudos to a kid in Clayton Tune and getting my head ripped off because he was absolutely terrible. Now, I get it. A lot of Cardinal fans don't look at it the big picture, right? Clayton Tune wasn't the sole purpose. He wasn't the sole purpose in terms of why we lost on the offensive side of the ball, right? Everything didn't work out for the Cardinals in that game. But people see the record, people see the stats, and they're like, Clayton Tune's absolutely garbage, right? So, yeah, I got my head ripped off, but it's fine, right? That's why I do this thing, right? I'm completely used to getting my takes completely blown out because, honestly, I'm not right a lot of the times, and I'm completely fine with that. But I'm so worried about what Kyler's going to do because if he comes out here and plays MVP, we're back, baby. Let's get going. But if he doesn't and he struggles, man, this fan base can go it's going to be like sharks in the water. It's going to be sharks in the water. There's some people, there's a group right now, there's a group of this fan base right now that's just circling. They're circling right now and waiting. They're waiting for Kyler Murray to fail. And I'm worried about it because our offensive line struggles, where we are at right now offensively. We'll have to kind of wait and see, right? But I get it. A franchise quarterback should be able to wield your team to win, right? We've seen CJ Stroud do it and he's rookie. So at the bottom line, the excuses kind of need to stop. And I'm just ready to go. I'm ready to go to see what Kyler Murray can do. All right, JT with the super chat. What's up, brother? Let's go, man. Thank you so very much for the contribution. He says, I'll give Bidwell this though. He finally actually listens to professionals about coaching and brought in JG and Petzing. Yeah, well, honestly, I think a lot of us are happy about JG, right? The average Cardinal fan probably wants JG fired that doesn't like what they're seeing so far. And that's fine, right? We're going to have a portion of the fan base that doesn't like it. And, we're not going to have everybody agree. I like with what we've seen from JG on the defensive side of the ball. The offensive side of the ball, it's been very worrisome, but I'm going to chalk that up to it was Josh Dobbs, and I'm going to chalk that up to it's a rookie quarterback, right? Now, the offensive side of the ball, the excuses are kind of out the window, right? At least for after these next couple weeks, right? Or heck, maybe even 1 week, the excuse is going to have to get thrown out the window because at the end of the day, although I like Petzing and I want him to succeed, this offense needs to figure out their offensive woes, right? And especially in that second half. Why aren't we able to score in the second half? Petzing needs to figure it out. So although I like Petzing and I like JG is a defensive-minded guy. I like him. Defense looks good. I have no problem with the defense. It's the offense. But I agree with you. I agree. I'll give Michael Bidwell his flowers because he made a decision right after he probably made one of the biggest horrible decisions that he probably could have ever made, and that was extending Keim and extending Cliff, right? He ripped the Band-Aid off, and that's probably why we are in the state of we are right now, right? Because of the decisions that he made, right? He had to swallow his pride, and he had to get rid of the guys he needed to get rid of. Unfortunately, it didn't happen sooner, but it happened. So I agree with you. I appreciate you, JT. Thank you so very much for the super chat. Appreciate that. Somebody in the chat says we're toxic. Deus, my bad. Deus, what's up, brother? He says we're toxic. You can say anything different from the vocal majority without getting. Well, here's the thing. I mean, if you pay attention to most of the fan bases, like there's fan bases are like everywhere. Like it's not just the Cardinal fans. Like it's not just Cardinal fans. It's obviously we get it. Like we see it more because we're Cardinal fans. But like take a look at Dolphins fans. Take a look. Like they're going through a riff of their franchise quarterback. There's a portion of them saying Tua's the guy, and there's another portion saying Tua sucks. Right? He's not the guy. Don't pay him. It's everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. You're always gonna have a divided fan base because when you have a fan base, there's everybody that has different opinions, right? Not every opinion is either going to be right or going to make sense. So I don't think we're toxic. I just think that we're struggling so bad, and we're all trying to come up with a game plan in our head because we're so tired of losing, right? We're so tired of being mediocre. We're so tired of being mediocre. Mediocre. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. We're so tired of being mediocre, right? Or not even mediocre. We're tired of being bottom of the barrel. So I get the fan base, to be honest with you. I don't really listen a lot. I just like to, or I listen, but I don't really react. I get where Cardinal fans are. We just want to win, bottom line. I don't think we're a toxic fan base. I just think that we're all struggling to find a real solution here and hopefully get us out of the bottom dumps, I guess. Let's see here. Let's keep it with the chat. This chat is going really wild. Thank you so very much, guys, so much for being here. By the way, obviously it's a random Tuesday. You guys are here. Obviously sharing your afternoon with me. Thank you so very much for being here. By the way. Daya says, I like JG. It's petting that concerns me. Yeah, I think that's honestly something that I think a lot of the people here in the chat can agree with. This last week, we've seen people say that our offense looked very Cliff Kingsbury-esque. And that's definitely not a spot you want to find yourself at. You definitely don't want to find yourself at. But now we have Kyler back, right? Now the excuses of Petsing might be, thrown out the window because we're having our franchise quarterback back. So he wasn't really ridiculed very much because a lot of people chalked it up to we had Josh Dobbs and we had Clayton Tune. But now we got a franchise quarterback back, right? If you can't figure out to make this offense go in the second half, or even heck, you can't make this offense go in general, and you have your franchise quarterback here, there's going to be a lot of questions being raised. So yeah, I think Petsing is going to be looked under a microscope for sure. I want him to succeed because I'm tired of the turnover personally, but if he's not the right guy, he's not the right guy, right? In the bottom line, if he's not the right guy, he's not the right guy. Somebody in the chat says, God, I hate seeing people already giving Kyler excuses, losing mindset. No, that's the thing. I'm not sure if you're talking about me or if you're talking about somebody in the chat, right? Hear me well. And I want to be very, very clear because a lot of people like to look at me and they say, you love Kyler Murray and you like to make every excuse in the book for him, right? Here's the thing. Kyler Murray is my quarterback, right? I will support him as much as he's giving me something to support, right? He's the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals right now. If the moment that he is not giving us the best option to win, then yeah, I'm right there with you, right? Pitchforks and all. I'll be right on your side right now. The problem is that we have a organization that's been stripped down to the studs, and we have a franchise quarterback that wants to revive his career, right? We haven't had Kyler Murray play a game in a year. And I get it. That might sound like an excuse. And I see where you're coming from, but this year is pivotal. This year is absolutely pivotal. After this year, my decision's going to be made. Are we moving off or are we sticking with Kyler? Bottom line, because right now we got 8 games left on the season? We got 8 games left in the season. And honestly, if Kyler Murray ends the season off with 2 or 3 wins, that's not enough. You're a franchise quarterback. That's not enough. So the Cardinals are going to need to make a big decision. And I get it, right? There's some people, like I said earlier, some people think I'm a fanboy of Kyler Murray. I'm a fanboy of Kyler Murray because he's my quarterback. He's the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals. But the moment he gets moved off, I'm a Cardinal fan. We'll move on, right? We'll pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and we'll look for a new quarterback. And that's going to be the guy I'm going to be riding with. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I don't feel like I don't give him flack. I feel like I do give him enough flack, but it's just there's not everybody's not here in every single video, right? Everybody doesn't watch every single video. Everybody's not here in every single live. So they don't actually hear me say critical things about Kyler Murray. But this is a very pivotal year for Kyler. It really is. And I've acknowledged that from the beginning of the season. And that's why I wanted to see him play. I didn't want to go into 2024 with unknowns because you can't have the first overall pick and still have unknowns about your franchise quarterback, right? Or your franchise. This year's pivotal. So, and honestly, right now, I'm going to choose to believe that Kyler Murray is going to get it right? Because we got 8 games left. Why the heck not? I don't want to go into this game saying we're going to lose. I don't want to go into I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. I want to see the Cardinals do good. That's what I'm looking for. Let's see here. We got X, Jakai says, I watch it. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. But believe it or not, there's not a lot of people that watch, right? Especially with this moment of not having Kyler Murray. I haven't seen some subscribers in a very, very long second, right? And I don't know if it's because I did something wrong or if it's because they don't want to watch Cardinal football or they don't want to consume Cardinal news. I don't know what it is, right? But there has been some subscribers that literally have been with me from the beginning of times, and I haven't seen them at all. They've been crickets. They've been gone. They haven't been in the comments. They haven't been on my live streams. And I'm not saying, shame on them. It's just I get it. Like, that's what correlates to me, that nobody cares. Nobody wants to listen to these Arizona Cardinals because Kyler's the dude. Kyler's the guy that's going to ride this wave out, if that makes sense. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys for being here that do watch every video. Thank you so very much. Somebody on the chat says, from a few sources, they said that Kyler looked phenomenal during close practices, making throws that had everyone dumbfounded. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I think you don't need a source to know that Kyler Murray can make the throws that Josh Dobbs can't, right? I don't think you need a source for that. Or at least if you do, then that's completely fine. But Kyler Murray is a franchise quarterback. That is why he was drafted first overall to be in the draft. And I get it. He went through a very, very bad leg injury, right? That took him out for the majority, or not the majority, the end of last year, and I guess for the majority of this year, right? So that injury was so crucial, right? It was so crucial. But me believing in Kyler, I don't need anybody to tell me he's making these dimes, because I already know. I already know he's going to come out here and do it. We just got to see him come out here and do it. You know what I mean? I'm hoping, right? Fingers crossed that he's going to be out here and come and do it. If I had to bet, it's that they are interested in Cardinals football. Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. I get it. We're 1-8, right? To me, my mind runs differently, and it doesn't make me a better fan. I'm not saying that. We all fan differently, right? And I get it. We all have different priorities. People have to work, right? People have bills to pay, and I understand it at the grand scheme of things. But to me, the way my mind works is football, and I think that's one thing that's. I appreciate my wife for allowing me to be football, because Sundays is nothing but football, right? I have an hour to 2 to 3 to 4 or 5 hours of talking Cardinal football, and although it hurts, I'm here for it because I love it. But yeah, we're 1-8. Yes, some people could say it's a losing season, or the season's over, but Kyler Murray comes back is still enough to get me excited and to kind of get me perked up to watch these games. Somebody in the chat says they're losing to Atlanta. Well, let me ask you guys. Let me ask you guys here in the chat. Do you guys think Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals are going to lose against Atlanta? Let me know here in the chat. Let me know here in the chat. Do you guys think the Arizona Cardinals are going to lose to the Atlanta Falcons? Because let's call it like it is, everybody. We know our fan base. We know it. I know there's some portion of the fan base that is circling around, that is waiting for the downfall, that is just waiting. And if Kyler Murray struggles, they're going to be calling for his job after week 1. And I'm not saying it's not justified, right? I'm not saying it's not justified. It's just, I know where we are at right now. Okay. We have some people on the chat says, okay, so we got somebody saying no. And then we got somebody says it'll be close. Honestly, I think we can win versus Atlanta. There you go. To be honest, yes. I think we can win by 2 possessions. Okay. Somebody on the chat says no. I think we can win by a TD. Okay. Close game win. Okay. So we got some optimism in the chat. Okay. I love it. Let's go. I love it. I think bringing Kyler Murray does bring a level of optimism, obviously, right? Our offense is going to be running best with Kyler Murray back there. And obviously, going back to Josh Dobbs, and I know that a lot of people kind of got mad at me because they're like, oh, you don't give the credit or the flowers to Josh Dobbs. I have multiple times given credit to Josh Dobbs, multiple times. Have I been too hard on him? Yes, yes, I probably have. Did I underrate the underdog story of what Josh Dobbs did for our organization because we're 1-7? Yes, I might have, and I could definitely be guilty for that for sure. But to me, it was more important to evaluate what we had on the roster, and if we can save $7 to $8 million and see what Tune can do, and if it's the same thing, we might as well save $7 to $8 million and not sign Dobbs, right? Now, obviously, it didn't work out like that. We saw Tune. Now, granted, it's not all his fault, and maybe he still can be our backup quarterback, but that's where my mindset was. How can we save $6 to $8 million and not bring him in as a backup quarterback if he could do the same thing, right? But obviously he couldn't. So, yeah, that was definitely bad, but good for Dobbs in his endeavors, man. Honestly, he will succeed a lot better with the Vikings than he would here, at least this year, right? He would succeed so much better with the Vikings than he would be here. So I get it. We didn't get our value back, but the grand scheme of things, this was better for Dobbs. It's better for his career. It's better for his family or for whoever he's playing the game for, himself. It's better for him. It truly is. It's a much better team all around, and a team that's fighting for a playoff spot, and the Cardinals are nowhere near that. So It is what it is at the end of the day. Let's see on the chat. If things go rough, Mike, please don't get mad. I don't think I've been mad in a very long time. I mean, personally, I don't think I've been mad in a very long time. I don't think I have. I mean, the way I talk, I think some people think I'm mad. I'm not. I mean, it's just the way I speak. I haven't been mad in a while. I've already got to the level of frustration. I've gone through the level of depression, mad. I've gone through every single level this year, and I think right now I'm just at the phase of dead inside. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I like that Kyler Murray's coming back. I'm not going to be mad if Kyler Murray doesn't come out here and play, fantastic. I'm not going to be mad if we lose. It would suck, but this is only going to reinforce what the Arizona Cardinals might do moving forward if Kyler Murray doesn't do good. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get mad. I haven't been mad in a while. This year, I haven't been mad since week 6. I know where we're at. It is what it is. People might think I'm mad because of the way I speak, but I'm not mad. Somebody in the chat says, I don't want to win. Well, I mean, it's up to you, man. I mean, at the end of the day, I guess it just depends, man. It depends on how you're going to be looking at this, right? If you don't want to win, then I hope you're not a Kyler Murray fan. You know what I mean? Because I truly feel like deep down, if we don't win games, Kyler Murray might not be the guy for the future. And if you want to move off, then okay, that makes sense. Don't want us to win. You know what I mean? Something that just says, I'm also dead inside. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, we know where we're at. We're 1-8. I mean, can Kyler Murray win 8 games? Maybe. I mean, maybe. I mean, what are we going to be, like 9-8? Maybe. I mean, Kyler can. It's just I'm tempering my expectations, although I believe that Kyler Murray is our future and I want him to, because I don't want to use another first round pick on a quarterback unless we absolutely have to and we determine that Kyler Murray isn't the guy. Then, I would rather keep him and see what we can do by building around him personally. But, these next 8 weeks, in the games that we're playing are going to be very crucial to the deciding factor of what we're going to be doing moving forward, if that makes sense. Let's see here. Somebody on the chat says, I'm getting roasted by family and friends everywhere. Screw the losing mindset. Yeah, I mean, let's see here. Somebody on the chat says, you guys were livid. And I don't think we were livid. You're talking about after this, Browns game? We were livid, you said? Maybe I saw 2 depressed fans. That's what I saw. I saw 2 depressed fans that are just trying not to claw their eyes out in what they're seeing. Like, that's what I saw. I wouldn't say I was livid. Maybe I was, I guess, I don't think I was angry. I was just like, oh, that sucks. I guess just different ways of thinking of what livid means, I guess. We need to draft a solid backup quarterback. Well, that's the thing too, right? Can the Cardinals do that, right? Can the Cardinals use their first round picks for something different and then still get a quarterback in the second round? We've seen a team do that, right? We've seen a team do that. Maybe you can get your Bo Nix, right? Maybe you can get your Shador Sanders, right? Maybe you can do something like that. Or Penix, right? Maybe you could do something like that. I don't know. I don't know what the Cardinals are going to do. We've seen Jalen Hurts get picked up in the second round. Can the Cardinals do that? Probably, right? I don't know. It's going to be one of those things that obviously this is going to be one of the biggest pivotal moments for the Cardinals in the next few years. Because are we rolling with Kyler or are we not? That's the biggest question. It's the biggest question. Let's keep it with the chat. This is a great conversation, ladies and gentlemen. Just FYI for the new people that are joining in, help might be on the way. For the new people chiming in, help might be on the way. There is rumors swirling around that the Arizona Cardinals are hoping to activate Mr. James Conner back and hopefully having him back here in week 10. So we would have James Conner, Kyler, and hopefully Michael Wilson back on our offense. Now, we do not know where we are at right now with Will Hernandez and DJ Humphries, but last we heard was that the Arizona Cardinals have claimed somebody off of waivers. So hearing that the Cardinals are looking already for offensive line help doesn't make me feel happy. Doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies on the inside. But it's just kind of another thing to kind of add on top of the the season that we've been having so far already, right? Because if you take a look at the snap counts here for the Arizona Cardinals, do they have? I guess they don't have offensive lineman snap counts. That's really odd. They really should. Yeah, I guess they don't. Okay. I thought I was going to hopefully be able to look at the snap counts here for the Arizona Cardinals, but I don't have it here for the offensive line. So it is what it is. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Somebody in the chat says Monty equals trash. Sheesh. Sheesh. Now I don't know about Monty equals trash. I'm not there yet. This is his 1 year. It's hard to say Monty is trash, at least to me. I mean, obviously, it's your opinion. I'm not gonna try to change it. I mean, it is what it is. But no, I don't think Monty's trash. I think Monty's doing what he can with what he was given. Right. This next year is pivotal though too. Like we're gonna have a lot of money. We're gonna have a lot of money in cap. So I'm hoping that the Monty could be able to work his magic and continue to cook and continue to make this roster better. So we'll have to wait and see. You can't do anything year one. Yeah, I agree. I mean, we'll have to kind of wait and see. The draft looked good, so we'll see this next year what Monty can do. Let's keep it with the chat here. Somebody says, I need James Conner to come back badly. Yeah, I mean, whether that's for fantasy purposes, right? Because I know there's a lot of people that drafted James Conner in fantasy football, or if it's just even for the idea of James Conner is what made this offense click in the first, 7 weeks? Or well, I guess not 7 weeks. Whenever he was playing, right? First 6 weeks, first 5 weeks, whenever James Conner was playing. So yeah, he was a good portion of what our offense did. So regardless of where you're feeling, I agree. I do need James Conner to come back badly, especially if you want this offense to click for sure. I pray for our offensive line didn't come out the cracker jack box. Dobbs was serviceably good until I can't read. Dobbs was serviceably good until Connor went down. He takes pressure off the QB, especially in play action. They don't fear the other running backs and send the headhunters out for the. Yeah, exactly. Yep, I agree, 100%. And I remember saying that we're gonna see what Dobbs is gonna look like without a James Conner, and it didn't look as good as what he used to look like, right? I think weeks 2, 3, 4, and 5 was probably his peak with the Arizona Cardinals, and there was obviously a regression that happened, but that's just because the Arizona Cardinals, depend so heavily on the running back making magic with his legs that Dobbs was able to do that, and I'm hoping Kyler Murray can do that. But like, how many run plays you see Kyler Murray doing? Like, that's going to be interesting to see, right? Are we going to be seeing those RPO plays or even run design plays by your quarterback, right? Are we going to be seeing that because Kyler Murray went through that big drastic injury? Are we going to be seeing that for the Arizona Cardinals? I'm excited to see if Drew Petzing's going to be able to put that in there, right? So obviously we don't need a design run play for Kyler. Kyler goes off of instincts and he goes based off what he feels like he needs to take off or when he feels like he needs to take off. But I'm curious if we're going to have actual plays designed for Kyler to take off, right? So we'll see. Let's take a look here. Dobbs was still looking iffy even with Connor. That's what I'm saying too. Like I said, he was looking good, but that was like prime, right? That was looking bright. And there was a decline that happened too. Somebody in the chat says another year waiting. Yeah, it's the storybook of the Arizona Cardinals, man. If you're a new Cardinals fan, even if you're not, it's just what we're used to, right? It's what we're used to. We're hoping that he can Monty and JG can get it right. That's what we're all hoping for. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're almost at the hour mark, or I guess a little over 10 minutes here. Just for the new people that are chiming in here, we do got some word that there might be some help coming back for the Arizona Cardinals, and that is James Conner coming back. And obviously the big breaking news that we ended up having yesterday, and that is that Kyler Murray might become, or actually Kyler Murray is trending to play week 10 as far as if there's no setbacks in practice, right? Like that's the biggest thing. Like Monty or JG made it very clear that as long as he looks good and there's no setbacks, Kyler Murray will be the guy in week 10. But we're living in a world right now where like there shouldn't be any setbacks, right? Like there shouldn't be. Like obviously barring any unforeseeable injury for Kyler Murray, but like the excuses are done, right? The moments of fluff, the moments of just talking out your bum, like it's done already, right? The Arizona Cardinals need to play Kyler Murray if he's fully healthy and ready to go. Because if they don't activate him tomorrow, which is on Wednesday, which I think they will, but if they don't, he's not going to be able to play the remaining of the year. So, like, Kyler Murray's going to play. At least I'm truly confident that 95% to even like 99% confident that he's going to be playing. But the whole barring any setback or barring the way he looks in practice, obviously, I guess JG had to throw that in because you never know, right? You never know what's going to happen. But I'm hoping he does. It would be a tough win to every win. Every win in the NFL is a tough win. Honestly, I get it. I've said multiple times that these are winnable games, right? And I'm gonna stop saying that because, to be honest with you, I've looked really dumb every single week because winnable never translates to actual wins for Cardinals, and I think we know that now. So I'm gonna stop saying winnable games. I'm just hoping, man. I'm just hoping that we can get a level of momentum, right? A level of excitement heading into 2024. Because if we could end this season off with a very, very good, like, excitement heading, man, more people are going to want to come, right? Because right now, what we feel about Kyler Murray in terms of unknown, there's players out there that might not want to play for Kyler Murray because they don't know, right? They don't know if he's going to come back into that level. But if Kyler Murray comes out and proves that he can play that well, we're going to have some really good free agents want to come to Arizona. We're going to have the money to spend, right? But it does take two to tango, right? We can throw money at people, but at the end of the day, if they don't want to come here, they're going to make a decision to go somewhere else, whether it's, saving or, costing them $1 million or $2 million cheaper. It's a decision of these free agents if they want to come here or not. So it is important for Kyler Murray to turn this around. And I'm not saying playoffs, or I'm not saying playoffs, but to turn this around and get momentum heading into next year. It's very important because free agency, frenzy, I can only assume the Arizona Cardinals are going to eat. They're going to be signing. They're going to be signing people. At least I hope so. I don't think a lot of this roster is going to retain for the Cardinals. There's a lot of people on this roster that have played very well and deserve to get paid. But there's a lot of people on this roster as well that we might not hear ever again. And they might end up on the practice squad or maybe somebody else's practice squad. So it's very important to get good momentum heading into next year as well. Let's see here. From what we saw, I see Monty will go bananas signing play. I think so, man. I think so too. Well, if we have the money, I think Monty will. Because although we did have money this year, I think it was very important for the clearing of the books to happen. And I know I hate it. I hate it too, as much as everybody else does. But Michael Bidwell is not the richest owner in the NFL. Michael Bidwell is nowhere near the richest owner in the NFL, right? He can't be throwing around money, right? He needs to make smart business decisions. And I think this year was a smart business decision to really clear a lot of these big contracts, DeAndre Hopkins being one of them. Take him off the books because I don't think he really wanted to be here anyways. And I think he wanted to contend for a Super Bowl. Why he picked the Tennessee Titans, it probably was because they were really the only ones that were giving him the bag. But yeah, I mean, we know where the Tennessee Titans are, so that is what it is. We need Dennis Gardick. Is it Dennis 45 to be in the trade pool? I mean, I don't see Dennis Gardick as far as being number one edge, but I do like what he does bring. I do like what Dennis Gardick does bring. I don't think he's in a very expensive contract. So as long as we can retain him for what we might have him or maybe give him a little pay bump, I don't mind bringing back Dennis Gardick. He's good at special teams too. I'm not sure if he's still playing special teams this year. I think he is, but that's where he started in special teams. Marvin Harrison Jr. will transcend this team. That I do agree with. Yeah, that I do agree with. And I think that's what a lot of Cardinal fans are kind of conflicted with right now, right? There's a lot of Cardinal fans right now that are very, very conflicted with the idea of they want to tank because they want Marvin Harrison Jr. But those guys aren't really thinking of the repercussions of what tanking can do because there's so many questions for this Cardinals organization. And that's including JG, that's including K1, that's including everybody that doesn't want to win, right? Or people that are even on this roster that are trying to fight for this roster to get into another roster to continue to play football for their family, right? Nobody wants to be in a tanking team. It's not good for them. It's not, right? Unless you're because you're white, because that man is still looking good. But he just got paid by us, so it doesn't matter. So yeah. Anyone know how Zaven is doing? I mean, Zaven's doing good. I mean, I wouldn't say Zaven's doing great, but I think that the move of him getting moved to the outside linebacker was probably it was a very good decision. I'll give it to this new regime for doing that to Zaven Collins, because Zaven was very, very close to maybe being called a bust for the Arizona Cardinals. And he's still young. Dang, he's 24. I didn't know he was that young. This man looks much older than 24. But yeah, Zaven Collins is 24 years old, obviously getting picked up in the first round for the Cardinals in 2021. But right now he's got 15 solo tackles, 3.5 sacks, and 1 interception on the season. Now, those aren't glowing remarks where you're going to be like, oh my God, Pro Bowl. But I think he's serviceable. I think he's done good for, what it is. I don't think he's obviously a superstar, but it is what it is. I apologize. As far as concussion protocol, I apologize. As of right now, we haven't heard anything. I've tried to look at the injury report here for the Arizona Cardinals. There hasn't been anything updated for Zaven Collins. As of right now, there hasn't been really any clear thing about Zaven Collins in terms of his injury that he got. Yeah, so we haven't heard anything. I apologize. Yeah. All right, let's do this. We're about 5 minutes in, or 5 minutes actually 4 minutes before closing shop here. I appreciate you guys for tuning in here as always here. Let me give a big shout out here to my sponsor. Obviously, sponsors are very, very important here for channels. If you support them, or if you support me, hopefully you guys can support them. I get it, right? A lot of people don't like to sports gamble or anything like that, and that's completely fine. But definitely let me give a huge shout out here to my sponsor of this channel here, and that is Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code today, AZSF, and get your initial deposit matched up to $100 for your initial deposit. And then on top of that, we also do got another sponsor in Foco as well. If you guys do not know, they really, really do very good job in like bobbleheads. Like, they were the guys that gave me this bobblehead right here. You can see K1's bobblehead. They got bobbleheads. They got like Arizona Cardinals sunglasses. They got like bracelets. Like, I got some things right here that they ended up giving me. They got the Cardinals overalls that I was rocking on a video here as well. Like, they got a lot of apparel for the Arizona Cardinals, and they are licensed through the NFL as well. And if you do actually go to foco.com and find something on there, all you need to do is use promo code AZSports, all one word, and you can get yourself 10% off if you are looking to get yourself something for Christmas, or maybe even your loved one. Maybe get something for your loved one out there. There is like pants, there's slippers, there is shoes for the Arizona Cardinals. If you know a ride or die Arizona Cardinal fan, you can get something like that for them, and then get yourself off 10% by using promo code AZSports today. So definitely shout out to my sponsors, Foco and Underdog Fantasy, because if you support me, hopefully you could support them as well, because that helps me out as well. So ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be closing up shop here pretty soon. Thank you so very much, everybody, for tuning in. Right, it's a random Tuesday, and I get it. You guys are probably doing something else, maybe doing laundry, maybe working, maybe at school. We don't know, right? But I appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to everybody. We're going to close up shop here right now. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, go Cards.